How did you take these conversations and package them up into a multi-million-dollar brand?
You know what's really interesting? It happened one purposeful accident at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were things along the way that I meant to do. So I intentionally did these things, but I didn't know it was going to work out. Like, the way it worked out was an accident, right? Like, it wouldn't have. For example, the card games. When I created Tonight's Conversation, the first card game, at first it was another name, but I created the conversation cards, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to order like 5,000 of these. And I was like, they just going to be on my website, and, I might, sell them here and there, maybe do some live shows, sell them, whatever. They just going to be here, right? I remember thinking this. And the reason why I said it was an accident is because the first day I accidentally sold all of them.
All 5,000?
Yeah, first day.
Wow.
First day, I kid you not, first day sold 5,000. And it wasn't part of my vision for that plan. And I adjusted to it though. I'm like, okay, they like these conversation cards. Let me create more. Then when we went and did a tour around just to sell the conversation cards, like, basically a merch tour, you know what I'm saying? We had random conversations just reading the cards. The purpose was to sell more card games. But then as we were having these conversations, the accident was, hold on, the conversations are doper than the cards. Let's film it. Then when I filmed the pod, or when I was like, okay, before the filming the pod, right? We did that. But I was creating ads for the dating cards, and people kept commenting, hey, we want to see full episodes. Where can we see full episodes? And my buddy was like, hey, why don't you just get your own app? Shout out to Kev on Stage, because Kev on Stage had his own app at the time. He's like, yeah, just like Kev on Stage. It's so dope. Look. And I was like, man, ain't nobody go want to see no goddamn card game episodes. But I was like, man, I'll try it anyway, because I was like, it ain't even that expensive to create. You know what I'm saying? And I already got the content. But the accident was, well, I guess I'll put the podcast on there too. Because the whole goal was just to put the dating things on there.
Okay.
So the accident was, okay, well, since we did this tour and the conversations are good, let me film the podcast and just put it on there as an extra thing for people to watch. And then that became the reason people watched it. So what I mean is, how it got to that point was a whole bunch of purposeful accidents. Like, I intentionally did things with a different goal, but it went the other way. And I didn't fight it. I didn't try to make it the goal. Like, I didn't keep it from going off rails. I just rolled with it. So when the cars started working well, then I made more. Then I'm like, well, let me tour the cars instead of just touring Ace Metaphor stuff. And that was hard, because then you have to have a gut check, because you like, man, but I'm the star type shit. You know what I'm saying? So making some cards the star of a tour was hard, right? Sharing the stage with other people initially was hard. But then I just leaned into it. And then when we got to the pod and actually like putting the episodes out and the clips out, I just never thought it. I never thought it would get to this level. And then you also, like, the hardest part, again, from being somebody that had his own brand before, it's not hard, but realizing, and it's the ego part that you got to check, because success comes with everything. The hardest part and the most beautiful part about my career and tonight's conversation is, it is the most successful thing I've ever done, but it's thanks to bringing the right people around me. The reason it's hard is because sometimes you're like, damn, I wish I would have did it by myself and I didn't have to share. But then I'm like, no. The fact that we got here is when I realized I had to take my reins off, like my hands off of everything, and stop being a control freak. And it's not just about me. And that's when I feel like I was rewarded with blessings. And it's tough because I'm so used to doing everything by myself. And like, I'm so used to doing shows and, hey, Ace Metaphor. Now you do shows. It's, hey, Keita. hey, Trip. And it's so beautiful. But at the same time, it takes a person being able to say like, yo, even though this wasn't my intention, because my intention was to sell out a room full of 5,000 people just to come to see me. But the reason why I say all these things are purposeful accidents is because even though it's not what my intentions were, it worked out better. Every step of the way, these accidents worked out better than what the plan was. And I'm so glad I didn't fight it, because a person with a bigger ego would have fought it. Like, you can go on the Tonight's Conversation page and you can see a whole bunch of clips from people that ain't me. I could reason, shit, I need to post my clips more. If they shit better than mine, I'm gonna post it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And it takes somebody really gut checking their own ego. If we on stage and this person is on more than I am, I'm tossing it to them. And it's like, so that's why I say, like, that's the part that, you know, has been contributed to the growth more, is checking my own ego enough to listen to our customer, to listen to the fan, to listen to what's working. Yeah.
And so you've got this community with like more than 20,000 people inside of this community. How long so when you launched the app that you have now, is it the app that you launched in the beginning?
Yes.
So you've been growing this app over the last 4 years.
2
years.
Yeah. So the app, we did the app in 2022.
Okay. So you've been launching this, or you've been building this app or growing the community for the last 2 years. What would you say is your strategy or your sauce to building a cult-like following? And I ask that because not only do you have more than 20,000 people on a paid app, like your podcast can't be found on YouTube for free and full episodes, right? So people are literally paying you for these conversations. You have 2 social media pages, 2 Instagram pages, both with well over 1 million people each. That's not easy to do. We've got people who are watching this are like, should I build a personal brand page and a business page? And here you are with millions of people on both pages and tens of thousands of people who pay you to hear these conversations.
Ecosystem. So I came from a advertiser space, a marketer space. And, you know, one of the things that has helped, first of all, I'm gonna just be honest, being dope as fuck helps. Like, if you're dope, you really just gotta be good at what you do. But if you got that, then the rest applies to you, okay? So like, creating that ecosystem, I realized very early on that Instagram Reels, the shorts, the TikToks, and all those different things, I realized how powerful they were. And I realized the attention span of people. And what I said was, I want to focus more on the front facing than the back facing, like the backwards, the front end, not the back end as much. So what I said was, I wanted to go in and shoot for clips. As easy as what people do second nature now, right? You'll set your camera up knowing that you're going to cut it into a 9x16. But that wasn't necessarily common knowledge back in the day, right? Like, you had to really intentionally say, I'm shooting mostly for reels and clips. And so anyway, I say all that to say this. The way I was able to do it was, I wanted to create an ecosystem where when I ran an ad for one thing, it ran an ad indirectly for the other things that I had. The card games, the app, the tours. The tour ads are just our best performing clips. And then we slap some dates on it. And so people now see tour ads and they can buy a tour ticket. However, it is publicizing the actual episode that people can go to the app. The app ads do the same thing, but reverse for the tour. And then the card game is named after the show and named after the app. So indirectly it gets marketed as well.